Good morning. My name is Trudy Nelson and I'm the Aboriginal Resource Teacher for School District 73, and today is the day of Secwentwecw. So the day of Secwentwecw is a day that we would normally be acknowledging one another in the Secwepemc. But of course we're not in our classrooms, we are not in our schools, so I thought I would come to you today a few times throughout the day and just show and share what my son and I are doing to continue to just honor this important day. So the day of Secwentwecw, I'm not sure if I said this or not, it means acknowledging one another in the Secwepemc. And the theme for this year is walking together, relationships, and worldviews. So I think that it's fitting because we are in this together, and everything that we're going through, I'm sure we're feeling a lot of the same emotions and feelings, and just missing some of the relationships that we would normally be coming into contact with regularly. And so just to remember and to honor and to take care of those relationships, even though we aren't able to experience them the way that we normally would. Anyways, the first thing that I wanted to share with you today is something that I have a special relationship with is the land and harvesting plants and medicinal plants. It's something that that I miss doing right now. And even though it's something that I could do out and about, I just got out of quarantine, a 2-week quarantine from traveling. I did get some cottonwood buds on the weekend, but I'm not going out. Now is a really crucial time, so I'm not even going out to harvest. I'm staying home. But I thought I'd share some of the plants that I do like to harvest, and this is a book that was put together by the Skeetchestn elders and Ron Ignis and Marianne Ignis, and it is in the Secwepemc language, but also in English. And sorry, I can't read this is just the Secwepemc language, but I will read it in English. And I won't read the whole thing, but I'll just share some of the plants that I happen to have on hand right now that I have harvested in the past, and their uses. But if you do get a chance to take a look at this book, it's very beautiful, and there's lots of plants that you can learn about beyond the ones that I'm sharing today. So it's called Skeetchestn Secwepemc Medicine Plants, and I'll just read the dedication to you. Oh, here are the elders that were involved. And it says, in this book, the elders from Skeetchestn provide information about the harvesting and preparation of a select number of medicinal plants used by the Secwepemc people in Skeetchestn. The plants shown in the plant knowledge described here is a small portion of the wealth of 100 or more plants that were used by the people of the Skeetchestn in the past as medicine. We chose these plants because they are generally safe and non-toxic. However, the elders want to remind you that knowing the plant and the technique of making medicine from it is not all there is to the practice of using Secwepemc medicine. In order for medicine or melanin to be effective, you have to train for strength and power in seclusion. Pray and sweat. Using medicinal plants, you should also let an elder guide you. Okay, so the first plant is Labrador, or Indian tea, or Trapper's tea. And I've never actually harvested it, but I do use it. And a friend of mine, Bobby, actually just brought me some about a month ago because I had a cough. And so I traded her 2 quarts of canned cherries that I had made, and I thought that was a good deal. But this is the leaves, and I just steep them in hot water. You don't need very many, and I've been drinking it actually the last couple of weeks while I've been in quarantine, just to keep my respiratory health good. And so yeah, so this is the tea of the people a long time ago. You always have to boil it. If you drink it, you sleep well. If you mix it with rose hips, it helps your cough. Long time ago, people used to wash out the mouths of their hunting dogs with Indian tea so the deer wouldn't smell them. I won't go that. Oh, I love this one. This is one of my favorites. So this is husham, or soap berries, And soapberries and soapberry branches are good medicine to cleanse your blood. You take the sticks and the leaves and you boil them, but not for too long, and let it simmer for half an hour. You set it aside and you fill it into jars and then you drink it. You drink 1 cup in the evening for 4 days. This is how you clean your blood with soapberry sticks. You do this in the spring and in the fall. If you want, you can dry the leaves and make tea. When you drink it, don't drink coffee or soda or black tea. You can improve your diabetes with it. When you first make this medicine, make it weak. If you drink it, your blood will become cleansed. So you can see the berries, you can see the Indian ice cream, and you can see the juice. So this is how I like to prepare my berries. Is I just make it into a concentrate, and then I mix it with water, put it in the fridge, and drink it really cold. That's the best way. Don't add sugar or anything. I just like it straight like that. It's bitter, but it's very refreshing. Almost soapberry time. A couple of months. Yarrow. I have some yarrow. It's dried. You'll actually see this everywhere in a few months. Um, so if you have a toothache, you put the root of the yarrow on the sore tooth and you feel better. If you have a fever, you make tea from it and drink it. If you touch poison ivy, boil the yarrow and bathe in it. I like the smell of the flowers too. They're strong, but they're beautiful. Not familiar with that one. Showy aster. Oh, this one I think is pretty interesting. Plantain. Everybody thinks it's a weed. It grows between sidewalk cracks and it grows everywhere, but it's actually a really good medicine. Common plantain. When you get stung by a bee, you take a common plantain leaf and you smudge them up, and then you put them where the bee stung you. This will quickly heal the bee sting. You can boil the leaves and put them where you have a broken bone and wrap a towel around it. That way, broken bones heal quickly. You mix it with pitch and it will heal infected sores. Lodgepole pine. Uh, in late May is when you make your lodgepole pine cambium. You go up on the plateau and you look for young lodgepole pines. You strip off the outer bark of a lodgepole pine. Then you scrape off the inner bark. It tastes sweet and it is really good food. This is also how the elders used to doctor up or detoxify themselves. Oh, my favorite. The rose bush. You'll see these everywhere in a couple months too. My mother used to tell us if an Indian doctor casts a bad spell, he will freeze you, and you have to take care of yourself. If you don't know how to take off what he did, you will get frozen, frozen forever, and you will die. But this here is our real medicine. I always tell the girls, I tell them, we have the real medicine right here. That's the rose bush. That's our real medicine since a long time ago. And they gathered it, they boiled it, they washed their house with it. You take some of it, you drink it, you eat the rose hips, you take the flowers, and after you get them, you dry them and you put it into your clothes. My mom used to tell us that's our real medicine, the rose bush. Chokecherries. If you are weak from being sick, drink chokecherry juice. It is also good medicine when you have a stomach ache and a fever. If you give it to children, it has to be warm, but don't drink too much of it. If you cut yourself, you boil the branches of the chokecherry and you soak it in a towel and you wrap it around where you got cut. Your cut will heal quickly. I have some chokecherry cough syrup here. It's also good for the lungs. The red willow, we won't go over that one. And the last one that I have here is the Rocky Mountain Juniper. That one might look familiar to you. You mix juniper and rosebush and you bathe in it so that the spiritual effect of someone who is deceased will come off. And I have some Rocky Mountain Juniper, and I've actually been putting this in a big pot of, you might be able to see my big pot of water back there, and I just let it steam really low all day, and it cleanses my home and it keeps viruses and bacteria from staying in the air. And And that's all I'm going to share with you about the plants today, other than later on when we go out and harvest. You can see behind me, I'm all ready to make a bannock with my son in an hour or so. And I hope you know learned a little bit about some of these plants that grow in the Secwepemc. And I hope that you'll join me a couple more times today in honoring this day of Secwepemc.